Jason Brown from thebrownreport.com, here to discuss things shopping with a focus on Amazon. Good morning to you, Jason. Happy Thanksgiving week. Also, kind of the Super Bowl, if you're kind of a retail analyst and watching that particular market with Black Friday and Cyber Monday just around the corner. So let's talk Amazon. You got your eyes on this one. Obviously, nice earnings. Had a jump, but it has pulled back. What are your takeaways for where Amazon sits right now?
Yeah, well, Alex, thanks for having me on. And the reality is Amazon hit a new 52-week high at 215.90, and it's up roughly 35% year to date. And so the stock recently pulled back, as you just mentioned. It pulled back to its 50-day moving average. If you technical traders are paying attention, that's typically a level where the stock may bounce. And so it represents about a 16-point pullback. So I think what it means to investors this holiday season is if you're looking for a discount, you just got a 7% discount on Amazon stock. I like it right here at the 50-day moving average as long as it holds.
Yeah, the one thing I guess that kind of clouds it, no pun intended, is the fact that it's got that AWS business too. And we know that some of the big tech stuff's been in the crosshairs of the DOJ and things overseas. So that does complicate it a little bit. But when you're just looking at the e-commerce arm of this, one has to imagine with Black Friday and Cyber Monday in the next week here, that's a big time moment for a company like Amazon. We know the trends have shifted towards e-commerce over the years. We know that Amazon's the player in the space, the MVP of that space. How are things, shaping up for Amazon going into those two big events?
So what I love about Amazon and how it's positioned, if you look at what analysts are saying, so according to analysts, e-commerce is growing 8.5% this year, while retail is growing at about 3.6%. So that means that people going into a physical location, or should I say people going online, is growing at a double the pace of people going to a physical location. So that's good news for Amazon. They have the branding, they have the trust where people are willing to put their credit cards in. And then here's another interesting statistic. North American sales increased by 9% to 95.5 billion. Then international sales grew by 12% to 35.9 billion. So you got a company doing over 100 billion in sales in a quarter. But here's where the growth is coming from. AWS revenue grew 19% to 27.5 billion, as well as their advertising, which generated about 14.3 billion, which was a 19% increase. So if you take AWS and their advertising services, you got just shy of $50 billion, which means they're just coming in 50% of North American sales in total. So they have a whole nother growth engine outside of the e-commerce platform. And so they're dominating in e-commerce, but then they got a whole nother growth engine, which bodes well for the stock.
Yeah, and that other side of the business is super, super high margin too. So it is fascinating that your investment in Amazon has investments into two very, very different things, but both can kind of add a little bit of a defensive nature to the other in different times, depending on where we're at in the different parts of the cycle. But I did want to talk about one of the things. I've talked to a lot of retail, kind of focused people over the last few weeks, obviously assessing Walmart and Target earnings. And one of the things that came away from that was this idea that there's this trade down for value. I also noticed from your notes as well, there's, and this is just anecdotally, we also have this desire when it comes to e-commerce that not only do we want to buy it, not only do we want it to have some value and be on the cheaper side if possible, but we also want it like there tomorrow, or we want it there this afternoon if we order it in the morning. Not very many companies can do that, but Amazon's one of them that can.
Absolutely. And that's where they dominate the space, right? You got to think about it. We live in a microwave society. So we are in an era where literally we can click a button on our phone and computer, not even have to leave the house, have it show up within 2 days, and in some cases, next day, and even better, depending on where you live. I've had situations where they're like, we can get it to you in a couple of hours. There is no other competitor that can compete with that. Then if you flip the script, what's one of the biggest headaches of shopping? You get something, you don't like it, maybe you get past the return period. Amazon gives you automatic 30 days. You don't have to be part of a special membership like some of the other retailers. Not to mention drop off at UPS, drop off at Kohl's, drop off at the post office. They got so many locations that make it convenient and easy and nobody hassling you over making returns. it's the obvious choice of why they're dominating. Deliverability as well as returnability. You got an easy sale that a consumer, you got an easy sale to the consumer, but an easy decision that the consumer can make the purchase without feeling any hassle of returning or getting the product. So no wonder they're just taking over.
Yeah, and it's really interesting too, because you talked about the advertising element and the ability to kind of get you to buy more things if possible. But I was thinking about that. If you kind of think about even the competitors, or even in the case of Amazon, they got Whole Foods. There's also these other omni channels like Drive Up. That really is going to limit you making those impulse purchases when you're walking around the store looking for things too. So I wonder how sort of as these things change, how it'll ultimately play out. But clearly the names like Walmart, the names like Amazon with their big warehouse presence and tremendous scalability across the country are in great position. I think I saw last year Amazon was something like a third of the e-commerce sales in North America. That's just astounding. But as we look ahead, big shopping weekend, obviously, is there any other names that you got your eyes on that are kind of, Amazon's, out there? It's hard to avoid Amazon, right? So is there anything else that's maybe hiding under the surface that you got your eyes on?
Yeah, one thing I want to say, I want to mention, you said how because of Drive Up and e-commerce, people won't make those impulse shopping decisions. I think that's only a problem for brick and mortar stores, because on Amazon, people are still making impulse decisions because they're like, hey, you like this, you might also like this. And you're kind of like, yeah, you're right, Amazon. Click, add that to the cart, send it to my house. I'll decide later if I want to keep it. Most times you end up keeping it. So you end up actually buying more than you probably plan on. So they found a way to deliver that kind of candy bar at the end of the checkout aisle. Exactly. They found a way to deliver that
and
digitally.
Doing so probably using AI technology. So for those who are trying to find, where are these use cases, well, learning as much as you can about the consumer so that you can sell them more things at checkout and maybe put them on auto ship or something. Next thing you know, they're buying it every 3 weeks. It's genius, really. But yeah, Jason, exactly. As you were saying, though, other names that you might have your eyes on.
So other names, I think people need to take a look at Apple. When most people look at buying a stock or investing during the holiday season, especially retail traders, you got to understand that everyone knows that every year Black Friday is coming. So yes, that'll give a boost to the stock, but you want to look for stocks that have some legs in life beyond Black Friday or Christmas and the holiday shopping season. And I think that's Apple. They benefit from people wanting to upgrade, get the new phone, but then beyond that, you got everything going on with Apple Intelligence, processing AI on the phone. You figure that corporations are going to get a new budget to upgrade their phones. And if they want their reps and their people using AI, they're going to want to upgrade to Apple phones with Apple Intelligence to protect their privacy, because they don't want to get left behind with their team being able to use AI. So I like Apple because it benefits from Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, but it has legs beyond that. And that's what you want. You want stocks that are not just one-hit wonders, but can stand the test of time even beyond the holiday shopping season.
Yeah, and that's certainly one that's had a lot of focus this year. You mentioned that Apple Intelligence and this iPhone launch. I guess it's still out. Jury's still out on whether or not it's been a super successful one or not. But the AI aspect of it is kind of in the early stages. So two big names, Amazon and Apple, that you got your eyes on. Anything else? I mean, a lot of these other big mega cap companies aren't really super shopping focused, but you have a name like NVIDIA, obviously, that's pulled back a little bit. Is there anything else that you're seeing just broadly because of sort of this broadening of the rally? You've seen some of these mega caps give back some of their rallies. Is there anything else you're focused on?
I'm looking at Plantier as well. So that stock for the longest time couldn't break out of like the $30 range. It's recently just broke 60. It's starting a nice uptrend up the moving average. It's trading about 60 points right now as I pull it up. That's a name that I think people need to pay attention to. They're also getting the government contracts for AI and processing their data. And with the new administration coming in and with AI and automation being a part of where everything is going, I can't think of a company that's better positioned to get those government and corporate contracts and continue the AI wave. So I really like Planetier, ticker symbol PLTR.
Yeah, this is a company that is really doing the machine learning AI thing and has been for a while, really starting to pay off for investors. Massive performance. Jason, I really appreciate your thoughts here this morning. Jason Brown from thebrownreport.com. Thoughts on Amazon, Apple, and a little bonus there with Palantir.